everyone, and a very warm welcome to the iAlmas Innovation Showcase. On behalf of the entire team of iAlmas Technologies, Zecurion, and Xcitium, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us this afternoon. We have a truly exciting and educational session planned for you. We are thrilled to be joined by an incredible lineup of global experts from Xcitium and Zecurion. They are here to show and share some of the most innovation and innovative technologies available in the market today. As a reminder for you all joining us, to make this even more engaging, we will be running a live Kahoot quiz at the end of the webinar. And we're gonna have an iPhone 17 Pro ready to be won by the top score. I highly here recommend two things. Pay attention to the discussion because the questions gonna be discussed here. Also, download Kahoot quiz on your smartphone now so that you're gonna be ready for now. Also, anyone who won in the last webinar can be won in this webinar as well. A few quick housekeeping rules here so that you can take them. Please feel free to type your question into the Q&A box at any time during the webinar, and we will be stopping and addressing them. And also, you can chat and interact with each other during the webinar and also with our panelists as well. And the webinar is going to be recorded and the link will be sent to you all after finishing the session. So now, without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce you our CEO, Mr. Muhammad Aliyan, to kick us off with a keystone on why this webinar is going to be so special to you. So, Mr. Muhammad, the stage is yours now.
Thank you so much, Diana. Thank you guys for being with us. As always, you are the best in these webinars and these sessions. And as Diana calls them, the innovation sessions. Thanks to the great panelists that we have today from Xcitium and from Zecurion. The only thing I want to start with is that we've been witnessing, I would say since COVID, but especially in the latest couple of years, we've been witnessing major shifts, paradigm shifts in the way attacks are happening and the way we should respond as organizations to those attacks, to those cyber attacks. Major parts of that are related to AI and how AI is today being used as a weapon and, of course, as a shield, as a piece of defense. Today, we learned from attacks that happened within the last 6 months and 7 months that attacks can run at machine speed. And the problem is that they don't only run at machine speed, they run in the brain of an AI piece of code. It's not anymore where you have a file or a script to analyze. There is nothing to analyze. So detection, EDR is gone. The concept is gone, it's dead. There is nothing to analyze, and based on that, detect, and based on that, block. That story is gone. It's machine speed. The attack itself is in the brain of the AI piece that's coordinating it. And nothing is as clear as the attack that happened on Anthropic Claude attack. That was like 80 to 90% autonomous, run by AI agents by themselves, compromised the entire platform using its own agents to participate in the attack. Again, at machine speed. So innovation today is not a luxury. It is something that must be there in every aspect, angle, control, policy, strategy that we develop. And that's why we have these two great technology vendors with us, because everyone has dramatically changed how we address the attack surfaces they cover, and they brought a disruption. They did not just follow the crowd and how they protect our assets. whether it is Xcitium at the endpoint protection side or Zecurion at the data loss prevention. It's even way bigger than data loss prevention today. It is data security posture management. It's posture management where data is way bigger than a simple PDF document residing on your laptop that you want to prevent from leaking. Xcitium has brought like probably the biggest disruption to the industry in the endpoint protection. It's the only technology I see today effective to counter the attacks and the techniques and the tactics, techniques, and procedures used today, especially in the AI era. The innovation that Zecurion is bringing to the table is transforming how you look at your documents, your sensitive tables in a database, your signatures and fingerprints that could come from images, texts, files, your shared network drives that people can copy and paste documents from your SharePoint, their photography detection and everything. They brought what is truly today an integrated DLP. I don't want to take much of the time because I want to leave it to the experts and we need to learn from them. Please, let's learn a lot from them. Welcome to our webinar today. Welcome to Xcitium Arabia, the organic extension of Xcitium in the region, representing Xcitium and providing the local support, sales, and partner development. And welcome to Zecurion as our strategic partner in the region when it comes to data security posture management. I'll take it back to my colleagues now, Soriana and Yumna. Soriana and Yumna will drive the panel discussion. So Soriana will be having the discussion and talks with Artem to explore that great Zecurion technologies. And Yumna will also walk it with Bill. So she will do her best to get the best out of these big brains and intelligent people so that we learn a lot from them. This is the last webinar before the summer breaks. Please enjoy it. We're looking forward to seeing you after the summer vacations. And thank you so much for always being with us. There is nothing like seeing you guys in our webinars. To you, Soriana and Yumna.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Muhammad, for that for your participation and for your kind words. Okay, so hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Yumna Al-Khan, a business development representative at iAlmas Technologies. And I'm very excited to introduce a cybersecurity company that is fundamentally changing the way organizations think about endpoint protection. For more than 3 decades, the cybersecurity industry has been built around a single principle: detect the threat first, then stop it. Okay, so whether we're talking about traditional antivirus, next generation antivirus, EDR, XDR, AI powered security platforms, or managed detection and response services, virtually every vendor in the market relies on the same core strategy: the detection. Okay, and despite billions of dollars invested into improving detection capabilities, successful attacks continue to increase year after year. So why? This is because attackers only need to create one technique that has never been seen before, while defenders must correctly identify every single threat. Today, cyber criminals generate more than 560,000 new malware samples every day. At the same time, organizations continue to suffer ransomware attacks despite investing heavily in security technologies. The challenge is simple. Every detection based technology must first determine that something is malicious before it can stop it. That process creates what we call dwell time, the period between the compromise and the containment. In many breaches, attackers remain inside an organizations for weeks, maybe for months, before being even discovered. So the question becomes: if detection continues to fail against modern threats, is there another way? Okay, this is where Xcitium introduces a genuine disruption to endpoint protection. Instead of asking, how can we improve detection? Xcitium asked, what if we could stop malware without having to detect it first? The answer is Xcitium's patented zero threat technology, powered by the kernel level API virtualization and zero dwell containment. This is not another antivirus, not another ADR, it's not traditional sandboxing. It's a completely different layer of protection. Here's how it works. When an unknown file, application, script, uh, or command attempts to run, Ethereum doesn't waste time trying to decide whether it's good or fine or bad. Instead, it automatically treats every unknown as untrusted and instantly isolates it in the kernel level. So the file is allowed to execute. The user continues working normally. But the application is no longer interacting with the real operating system resources. So the application believes it's operating normally, but in reality, it's running inside a secure, isolated environment or a digital cache. If the file proves malicious and attempts to cause harm, the entire contained environment is instantly destroyed. No remediation, no incident response process, no waiting for a detection engine to make a verdict, no dwell time equals zero. If the file is determined to be legitimate, the user continues working without interruption. This is what Xcitium calls zero trust with zero interruption to business. And what makes Xcitium even more powerful is that it doesn't ask organizations to abandon traditional security controls. Instead, it enhances them. It delivers a complete defense in depth platform through a single cloud native management console. And we at iAlmas Technologies, acting as Xcitium Arabia, because our mission is to make advanced cybersecurity technologies more accessible to enterprises, government organizations, managed service providers, and reseller partners throughout the Middle East. This means organizations can benefit not only from Xcitium's industry leading zero dwell protection, but also from a local team that understand the unique business compliance and cybersecurity challenges of our region. So you will get a global protection, local expertise, and regional partnership. This is our vision behind Xcitium Arabia. And now I would like to hand over to my colleagues Suriana and Diana. Also, Suriana will introduce the Zecurion and discuss how it helps organizations protect most valuable assets, their data, actually. Okay, let's proceed with Diana and Suriana.
Thank you, Yumna. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Suriana Bashrin. I am a business development representative of iAlmas Technologies and Xcitium Arabia, because as you know, we power Xcitium Arabia in the region. So thank you, Yumna, for introducing Xcitium. It's my turn now to introduce the core. We all know the classic data leak scenario. An employee emails a sensitive file to the wrong person or copies it to a USB drive. Traditional DLP has been trying to solve this for years. But what about the leaks that happen in plain sight? What stops an angry employee from simply taking a photo of their screen with a smartphone? Or reading confidential data aloud during a video call? Digital watermarks do not block them. They deter them, but not block them. Legacy DLP systems from vendors like Symantec or Forcepoint are blind to these threats. They focus on digital channels, but the physical world is a massive unguarded backdoor. This is where Zecurion changes the game. Zecurion isn't just an update, it's a complete reimagining of data loss prevention for the modern era. It's the world's first next generation DLP. Let me show you what makes it revolutionary. First, Zecurion closes that physical backdoor with its AI-powered screen photo detection. It uses your laptop's webcam and two neural networks to detect if someone is pointing a smartphone at the screen. If it sees this, it can lock the workstation in as little as 0.06 seconds, faster than the shutter button can be pressed. This isn't a deterrent, it's a prevention. Digital watermark technologies can be a deterrent, but it cannot prevent it. Zecurion understands that leaks are caused by people. So its second breakthrough is a built-in staff control module. It performs user behavioral analytics, creating a risk score for every employee. It flags anomalies like someone accessing sensitive documents for the first time at 3 a.m. on a holiday before a leak happens. It shifts your strategy from reactive to proactive and predictive. And unlike the complex legacy systems that require separate tools for classifications, watermarking, and decap, Zecurion integrates everything into a single elegant platform. You get a built-in data classification engine, digital watermarking, and document-centric audit and protection, all managed through a single pane of glass. So while traditional DLP protects your data in motion, at rest, and in use, Zecurion protects it from the human factor. It stops the leaks others can't even see, giving you true 360-degree control over your most valuable asset, your data. Now, with no further ado, let me start this panel. I would like to welcome you, Mr. Artem Smironov, the head of pre-sale engineers at Zecurion. Hello, Artem.
Hello, Soriana. Hello, team.
Hello.
Everybody.
How are
Yes,
you?
hello. Yes,
How are you? Hope everything is good with you.
not bad. Thank you for hosting us. Yes, today. Yes, it's very nice to meet you all
You are.
together. Yes, Soriana, you are raising up all my trumps, and I don't know what to add to you. Yes, introduction. Yes, thank you all. Yes, Surian, what is expected from me from my end for now? Kind of
Yes.
introduction.
Yes, I presented Xcitium, so I have some points that I would like you to enlighten more on this great technology. So I'll start with my first question, then I'll move it to Yumna so she can handle the panel with the Xcitium. Okay. So first, my first question. DLP is a very crowded market with many Me Too solutions. What are the one or two AI-powered features in Zecurion that truly make you different, especially from enterprises worried about insider threats?
Yes, very good question. I feel today we are like an exhibitors and we are trying to present Zecurion to all guys. Yes, no, what I'm trying to highlight that Zecurion provides several solutions. Data loss prevention suite and also DSPM capability. And we provide to use these two products together in combination and get kind of a synergy of two solutions in one single place. What about data loss prevention and your question? Let me say that yes, data loss prevention mainly focus only people-centric approach, and you, me, and DLP admin will see all process around this that belongs to this guy, to belong this employee, and kind of you will have full visibility of everything what is happening in the certain user. Also, you touched behavior analysis. Also, we have a several engine on board which will add kind of context of user. We have user behavior. We have screen photo detection. Yes, you already mentioned. We have watermarking. We have deep capturing tool for making screenshots, microphone, recorded session, web camera, keyboard control, and these tools will gather kind of a context of user, and you will see trends in user behavior in one single place, in one single console. That can be a next generation approach to be not to log everything and do people-centric trend analysis on place.
Yes.
Okay, that can be a small response from my end. Yes.
It was a great response, actually. It's great that we have this technology that combines, the screen photo detection, the behavior analytics, everything in one pane of glass. So I believe it solves an unsolvable problem, most of the times. Thank you, Artem. I'll move to my next question, but first we can turn the mic to Yumna, and then we will come back to you, Artem. To you, Yumna.
Thank you, Suriana and Mr. Artem, for the great discuss. Okay, we're now moving into our discussion with Mr. Bill Berry. Mr. Bill Berry, the Vice President of Security Operations Centers and Services at Xcitium. Hello, Berry. Hello, Mr. Bill.
Hi, how you doing? Thanks so much for having me.
I'm good. What about you?
Yeah, doing well. Excited to talk a little bit about Xcitium today and hopefully teach some people of our great model in approaching security at the endpoint level.
Very good. Okay, Bill, I have the first question to ask about Xcitium. Actually, the industry, the cybersecurity industry, has relied on detection for 30 years, maybe. You at Xcitium are advocating for detection-less security. For our resellers who have clients afraid of change, how does zero-dwell isolation actually work, and why it's mathematically superior to chasing signatures?
Yeah, great question. So traditional AV and EDR, they're reactive. They need to see a file, analyze it, understand its behavior, and then update, and then block it. It's outdated technology. It takes huge teams to monitor. Then they can't properly adjust items as 0 days, which might have been created 5 seconds ago, for instance, without fully restricting the user access or rolling back the device once it's compromised. They're allowing the device to compromise and then saying, oh, we'll roll back 5 minutes, roll back an hour, which interrupts your day-to-day operations. Our zero-dwell technology works on a simple principle. If you can't 100% guarantee a file is safe, we force it to run in a lightweight container at the kernel level. The file runs, we're able to virtualize the memory, file system, and registry to trick the file into fully deploying. We watch it silently. It then gets sent up to our threat labs teams, consisting of both automated AI analysis and human analysis as well, when that needs to come into play. If it's malware, the container is reset, it deletes it fully, essentially. And if it ever comes back safe, we're going to make sure that obviously that file is allowed going forward. It's a seamless process. It happens completely to the side without any impact to the user. We don't need to detect to stop it. We just assume every unknown is guilty until proven innocent.
Okay, so Xcitium will isolate the files immediately in a lightweight container at the kernel level.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Fully at the kernel level. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Bill, for the great answer. Now, I'd like to go back to the discussion to Suriana for her questions to Mr. Artem. Mike with you, Suriana.
Yeah, thank you, Yumna. So our next question, Artem, do you hear me, right? You do hear me. Yes, because you are on mute. Okay, that's great. My next question is, data residency and privacy laws like PDPL in Saudi are a nightmare. How does Zecorion's architecture help a regional bank or a government entity stay compliant without rebuilding their entire network?
Yes, this is a very frequently discussed question on any certain, from my end, on any certain pre-sales deck. How to work these compliance is everything, everywhere. Regulations are everywhere, policies, rules, and it's a literally nightmare. No, Zecurion, we provide kind of a tool which will, again, monitoring or proactive tool which will capture and fetch anything, everything, and we can see data transmissions. To effectively see this type of transmission, you're totally right that it will require necessary customization, policy customization, data classification customization, and filtering rules classification customization. And we, Zecurion, myself, and Zecurion, we provide kind of very flexible, dynamic, customizable rule wizards, which will identify the sensitive information, which will identify the I don't know, top secret, or I don't know, whatever. This fingerprinting, this AI tool, these regular expressions, these whatever, and attributes analysis, deep attribute analysis. This can be an answer, a response on GDPR, privacy acts. I don't know. Any certain modern country has his domestic privacy acts regulation. And again, Zecurion is ready to provide post-breach remediation, provide post-breach reporting for that. We don't ask to the customer to change their workflow. We are ready to adapt our policy. We are ready to adopt and customize Zecurion tools close to the customer internal compliance and government regulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sure that's an answer that most of the attendees wanted to hear. Thank you for your answer, and back to you, Yumna, now.
Okay, thank you, Suriana. So let's return to Xcitium. Okay, Mr. Bell, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Actually, operationally, what's the biggest fear customers have when moving to an isolation-first model? Is it performance or application compatibility? And how do you overcome that fear?
Yeah, the number one fear is probably breaking line of business apps, right? Interrupting the user's workday. And when customers think isolation, they think it's sandboxing or really locking down that device so they can't communicate anymore. It slows down and stops the business processes, right? Unlike sandboxes, which is actually already ineffective against any kind of sophisticated malware, Xcitium's lightweight container runs natively on the kernel, virtualizing that user's environment adjacent to the user's device with extremely low resource costs. The user experience is seamless. They don't even know a file is isolated, except for what we show is a light green border around the window that's being isolated to actually give some kind of visibility if the administrator wants to show that to their end user, essentially. And then we also overcome kind of the onboarding pains where you might say, well, how does Xcitium to know what's normal in my environment? What's good to run in my environment? Where we have what we call a baselining mode, or maybe a learning mode, you might refer to it as well, where we monitor but don't block, showing the customer exactly what would be contained and isolated in that period. That can be anywhere from a week to a month, depending on your environment size and your kind of operational process there. And once that's all finalized, they see zero productivity loss and a huge up to a 99% reduction in security alert and risk in their environment.
Great answer. Thank you, Bill. Actually, the key answer is related. It's like isolation doesn't mean sandboxing. Because sandboxing means slow or stoppage of business. Okay, let's go to Suriana back to the discussion for Zecurion.
Okay, thank you, Yumna. Well, Artem, I believe this is another FAQ that says a common complaint about DLP is that it kills productivity, pops up everywhere, blocks emails. How does the Korean integrated tools approach help businesses actually improve workflow while staying secure?
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. Again, it's this is kind of very. To answer that question will require from my end a couple of dozen of minutes. We can set up another separate webinar about that. Yes. How to work with Zecurion and how it improve workflow. No, you know that Zecurion is this kind of tool which will it's a rule-based system. Again, Zecurion is a rule-based system. It depends, no, the productivity of Zecurion depends on the quality of policies and necessary customizations that already made on the customer ground. Again, where required customization on the customer ground, it's a true, yes, again. But our wizards, our policy concept will provide the very huge amount of tools and combination and multi-level set of multi-level conditions to effectively set up what is sensitive and what is not sensitive. There we can apply a blockage, or where we can use only monitoring mode only. By the way, the answer will be that Zecurion is ready to do monitoring and prevention. It's a two different option for deployment, and we do not mandatorily ask everybody to use Zecurion in a blockage full prevention mode. Our customers may use Zecurion on the first stage as a kind of monitoring, and we will only fetch the traffic flows, and we do not interrupt internal workflows. Customer will see what is happening. Customers will do step-by-step policy customization, and they will teach how to manage the data breach incidents. You know, the incident management is a separate huge way of internal process adaptation, and that's why we are advised to use step-by-step implementation. And also, by the way, we are ready also to support and help our customers to provide internal playbooks, internal documents, these instructions, how to improve their internal workflows. It's it might be a help to the new customer who will meet Zecurion and CM from scratch. It's the first time then then the customer will meet such type of system. Okay, I waste most of your time. I will not waste more. Okay.
No, you can have all the time you want, Alma.
Okay. Let's continue about incident management. Yes, I think my colleagues will help me how to manage the information security incident and its cycle of incident management. Okay. It's a good point of discussion. Yes, from my end, that's all from my end.
Yes, thank you. Someone is asking, yes, you can you can type your questions anytime you want. You can use the Q&As or the chat, and we can answer them with our great co-panelist. Thank you, Artem. Thank you for your answer, and I'll go back to you now.
Okay, thank you, Suriana and Artem. Let's get back with Xcitium last question. Okay, now Bill. Now looking ahead to 2026 to 2027, AI-generated malware is exploding in a very fast way. How does Xcitium evolving its platform to handle these threats that rewrite themselves every millisecond?
Yeah, another great question. So polymorphic AI malware is designed to beat signatures and behavioral heuristics, but it can't be containment. Even if the malware rates itself 1,000 times, it still has to execute. And the moment it executes, Xcitium's auto-containment kicks in. We've seen in the past year different types of attacks greatly increase, from new ransomwares all the ways to increased levels of phishing campaigns. And AI is allowing the attacker to really expand their attack platform and target a greater amount of companies, organizations that in the past it maybe wasn't worth their time. AI is changing that for them. It's changing the entire landscape. And Xcitium Zero Dot Containment remains the most effective in protecting against the use of AI by these different threat actors. Traditional AV vendors, they're not going to be able to keep up with the way the industry is moving. And the future for us too is more autonomous remediation with integration of AI directly into the platform, allowing a various amount of playbooks, which will allow further remediation at all the different levels of your organization and the entry points of those cyber attacks. And these different playbooks will be able to be completed both with and without any human intervention, depending on your setup and process. And you can even use our Xcitium MDR services where we can help manage and monitor your environment 24 by 7 by 365 and kind of insert ourselves into those playbooks as well. So you have that full coverage, whether it's after work hours, on weekends, during holidays, and anything else that might come up as well. And as also previously mentioned, our current AI integration is also speeding up our verdict process inside the container, reducing that identification to sometimes nanoseconds for these files that come in. So this AI that's coming in, we're able to quickly identify, make sure it never runs in your environment, keep you protected. Our technology is future proof with what we're currently seeing in the threat landscape.
Yeah, we're seeing that actually. It's a very good point to mention. We're moving from isolate and alert to isolate, remediate, and rollback. It's very way to make sure that our security in the future is going to be deployed in a good way. Okay, thank you, Bill, and thank Mr. Artem and Suriana as well. I'll also to thank Diana, so she will proceed with our webinar.
We have like 3 questions to address.
Okay.
Maybe I'll ask those questions. So Mr. Mohammed Al-Matrouk asked Xcitium, once an agent is installed, does it run as both a process and a service in the endpoint? If so, does an attacker have a chance of switching it off when they attempt executing commands against the targeted endpoint?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So we have a lot of different controls on the endpoint itself. And obviously part of those controls is protecting ourselves on the endpoint. We want to make sure we're sticky, that we stay there. We cannot easily get removed. So you have settings. Ultimately, you are an admin. You have full, possibilities to remove anything on your device, right? But we really restrict that to the admin level. So obviously, even with an attacker maybe getting your admin credentials, getting on the device, they would still have to understand how the profile works, how your configuration is, understand your different passwords that you have configured there. So we make it very, very hard. We also have alerting that would tell us if a device is removed. So my MDR team, for instance, would be able to notify you immediately if we see a device being removed when we're not expecting it in those situations. So we have a lot of different controls in place. At the end of the day, you do control everything deployed on your endpoints, but we make it very hard for an attacker to understand how they'd have to remove us. You cannot just go in and easily disable. There's lots of controls and mechanisms to make sure that we stay properly executing on that endpoint.
Awesome. And again, also for Xcitium, how many digitally isolated environment does Xcitium allow at once? Which I think we can translate to how many containments can you run at the same time, like hundreds every minute?
Yeah, I've never tested the max, to be honest. It's almost infinite, right? And obviously within realistic standards, you're never going to be running thousands of programs at one time without even the device first, kicking out, right? The blue screening first before that happens. But no, it does not matter if you click one file, click another, they're both malicious. They're both going in that container right there. It's very, very lightweight. Even running multiple instances of that container, it's not going to really stress any kind of resources on your device. So we feel that for most normal cases, feel free to stress test us as well. We always do free POCs. You can jump on, you can download our endpoint and see how it works. So feel free to stress test it. But I've never seen any client say, hey, we can't run enough instances at once. It's naturally happening in the background. And like I said, it only interacts with the unknown files. The good files are allowed through. The malicious files are still going to be stopped because we still do have antivirus. So the bad files still get stopped by AV, good files allowed through. It's all those unknown files that we're able to kind of put in that container element.
Yes. And a question to both Zecurion and Xcitium. Also Mr. Mohammed al-Matrouk. The last question was from Mr. Al-Anwar, but now I'll miss Al-Anwar. Then for both Zecurion and Xcitium, can your technologies stand up against the chat GP fish or GFish, the chat GFish? You know that new AI vulnerability and chatbot vulnerability. But and again, it's all about running attacks against your digital environment at machine speed, and in my opinion. And the only one that can handle such a situation from endpoint protection point of view is Xcitium, because regardless of what vulnerability is there, we don't care about if that vulnerability is there or not. If you're unknown, regardless of what kind of exploitable you use, you will get isolated. And from I think from Zecurion point of view, AI leakage, exfiltration, data leakage is in the roadmap also, because that's a major new vector for leakage, leaking documents and data. But I'll leave it to you guys like Artem and Bill, sorry. If you wanna
Yeah, Artem, you want to go first, Artem, on that one?
My response will be very short. Yes, Muhti and our colleagues, our colleagues are totally right that AI platform, AI portals, it's a kind of a vector of potential data transmission, very, very sensitive data transmission being sent outside. Yeah, we are in charge of that. Yes, we know we are. No, in present, we are ready to capture and fetch all post requests in the web browser. We can see what this guy will do in the it's HTTP post request, and we can capture and fetch it. In future releases, yes, we are going to implement more advanced monitoring and protection against such type of AI portals, then with which users communicate with, usually on his work days. And yes, it's a problem. You're totally right. It's a new potential data leakage vector, and it might be a problem. And yes, we are aware of it.
Yeah, and just to add on the Xcitium side, attacks come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, right? So we're seeing as different things come in, and you need to have layered defense. Excuse me. And Xcitium's protecting at the endpoint layer. So as that pivots maybe into a execution of a ransomware or malware on the device, that's where Xcitium's going to kick in. We do also offer things like email gateways, internet gateways. We have a full 24/7 MDR team that's looking at those different layers to be able to notify and then help you block, whether it's coming in through, in this case, that ChatGPT vulnerability, if it's coming in through an email phishing campaign. There's levels to attacks, and you have to understand that one layer is really good, but you need to have multiple layers attacking these kind of problems that might be coming to your environment. Because especially with AI now, these attackers are looking at how can I get in any way I can. So they're going to try your email side. They're going to try your 365 or Google Workspace end of the house. They're going to try to social engineer and get on someone's device and execute that way. They're going to look for your vendors, whether you're, vendors that you use or vendors that you're selling to try to move laterally from there as well. And they can use AI to kind of build out that full attack pattern and vectors and go about that way. So you need to make sure that you have different levels in place. And we feel at Xcitium, we're a really, really strong level where we can protect at the endpoint level, but we can also give you visibility elsewhere in your environment through network side of the house, email side, different cloud API accounts as well. So we can have that visibility, protect you, and make sure you're alerted. So that way we can get ahead of that start of an attack, essentially.
Yeah, and I may add something also, Mr. Mohammed Matrouk. The things are measured with the end game, in my opinion. So, for example, if that vulnerability is used to have AI-based phishing emails, then you need to worry about it at the email gateway where you have AI filters for the phishing emails and all of that. That's a different story. But the end game from both sides, from the side of Xcitium and from the side of Zecurion, let's start with Xcitium. the end game is that whatever it executes, that is an unknown in the end. And if it's unknown, it goes the path of the unknowns, which is isolation at the kernel level, all of that, which gives you that confidence and that peace of mind that it won't execute harmful stuff, because what we do is we virtualize the right capabilities, and that's a major difference between us and sandboxing, and that's why we're a real environment. It's not a fake environment. We don't virtualize the read attributes. So the malware still reads actual data from your laptop, but we virtualize the right attributes. If it tries to do something bad, even writing to the internet, like exfiltrating data, it will be blocked. So the end game is the most important thing. But if that vulnerability is used, not maybe for AI related phishing, maybe it can be used for prompt engineering into your AI infrastructure. Now, this is a different discussion, as Artem said. It is in the road path where Zecurion will introduce AI exfiltration protection for data. Now, you need to consider AI infrastructure protection, because that's where if prompt engineering is used and prompt injection is used, then you need to worry about your AI itself, like Copilot infrastructure or your Gemini or your whatever other platforms that you may be using that could lead to data exfiltration and data leakage and stuff like that. So it's like it's all measured with the end game more than anything else. I hope this addresses the question. The last question from Mr. Hazem. Since we know that isolation, this should be for Xcitium, isolation forest is not only about isolating anomalies, how can we use this model if we did not actually run the file? Yeah, because we don't need to run. The moment the file executes, it's immediately unknown because of its hash. And if it's unknown, it goes the path of the unknowns. In my project, we chose to run files in a sandbox environment. We said a sandbox is a different story. Sandbox, you have a fake environment. For our side, we don't do fake environment. You truly deal with your actual environment, and that's why we don't virtualize the read attributes. We only virtualize the write attributes. Sandbox environment and apply a model there. For example, if a file contains a 0-day vulnerability, the isolation forest can detect it. Again, we don't detect. We don't have to detect. Detecting means that you discover something. We don't have to discover. And that's the disruption. We don't have to discover. So if the file contains a 0-day vulnerability, the isolation forest can detect it through behavioral analysis. We don't care about behavioral analysis. That's the disruption Xcitium is bringing to the table. However, if we run the files directly on the host machine instead, we can ensure the system will still be protected against zero exploits. Again, I know it is sometimes, especially if it's the first time you hear about Xcitium, the entire concept is absolutely new, man. It's absolutely new. It's where we really don't need to detect. As simple as that. We really don't need to detect. Yeah, go to you, Bill. Please.
Yeah, if I can add just one thing on that too. We do have some users that like to kind of proactively use our technology. And at any point with our endpoint security installed on the endpoint, you can right click on a file and run it in containment. So you can use how you're using a sandbox now, which, like I said, is generally ineffective because sophisticated malware has sandbox detection. So it's going to understand, like, I'm not going to fully show my payload here because I know I'm running in a sandbox. So you really have to build out a really, really sophisticated sandbox to be able to get that stuff to run, which takes a ton of resources and a lot of time on your end. With us, we're virtualizing the user, we're properly tricking. When that file executes, it thinks it's running properly on that user's endpoint. But you can right-click any file on your desktop in your documents folder in your program files, and you can click run in Xcitium container. It's that easy, and you will see it open up in that container. You'll be able to see exactly what it's doing, and then everything reports back to the platform where we have our EDR agent, our EXDR agent, giving you the data of what happened is there. So if you do want to be proactive, maybe you got a file that you think is suspicious, and you say, well, I don't want to just click it and run it. You can actually run it in containment proactively on your machine. You don't have to, like, so we're protecting its execution at all times, but we allow that proactive use for those users that, you know, are maybe a little more aware of what's happening out there. So
imagine you're running a ransomware and you're safe. You're just
yeah,
watching
exactly.
it.
You could actively run a
Run a
ransomware on your desktop. You can say this, I know this is ransomware. I can run this actively and it's not going to do anything to your device.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Bill and Artem. And back to you, Diana.
Okay, so now let's go to the fun part, the Kahoot quiz. So first, be sure that you downloaded the app so that we can start. Okay, so here's the game begin. I will copy it and put it in the chat here so that you can use it easily.
If you want, Diana, you can also, if you hover the mouse on the pin, it will allow you to copy the link itself. So people can just click on it and join if they want to join through the web, through the web access, yeah.
Great. Okay. So are you ready? And now let's start. The first question. What region does iAlmas Technologies primarily operate in? Be fast so that you can. Well, I want to remind you that the right answer and the fast answer are the answers that won. Okay, so we operate in Middle East and Africa. Let's see the scores. No, sir. Good. So let's go to the second question about Xcitium and see how much you were focused during the discussion. Okay, it isolates unknowns. Yes. Good for you. Let's go to the third question. So Zecurion is a global leader in which security category? Answer questions, please. DLP, data loss prevention. Let's see the scores. Good. And let's go to the fourth question. Okay. What is the name of Xcitium's flagship isolation technology? Okay. Good, and let's see the scores. Good for you. Now let's go to the next question. Which unique feature detects someone taking a photo of the screen? I guess that's an easy question. Okay. Great, Morali. And let's go to the next question. What happens to a file Xcitium cannot verify as 100% safe? Okay, it's executed in a container. Great, you're on fire, Morali. Okay, let's go to the next question. Which of these is a core component Zecurion protects? That's a harder question. Let's see your answers now. Data in use. Great. Let's go to the 8th question. Why is detection-based security failing today? Okay. See the scores. Same, which is great. Focus here is not an easy question, but not a hard one. Okay, by using the contextual AI question. And now, to the last question. Okay. However, the third one and the second one is Nasser, and the one who won today is Morali. So congratulations for you. Thank you so much for your engagement and your participation with us today. Your engagement helps us really and makes this session really successful. And thank you so much, Bill and Artem, for your discussion today and your valuable information that you gave us. Thank you so much, you all, for your participation and for joining us today. And as I promised, the recording is going to be sent to you all after this session. And if you have any question or want to reach out, you can reach out during our via our emails that we put in the chat at first. Thank you so much once again, and appreciated your times. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Artem. Thank you, team. Goodbye.